How's it going, guys? It's Will the Roofer here. You're watching Build with A&E. In this video, I'm going to be showing you how we do step flashing all the way up there. So, the tools that I'm going to be using is a hammer. Second tool is some snips. We've got a pencil, a straight blade, a flat dresser, a bolster, tape measure, some gloves, and some 6-inch lead. I'm going to be going through the process from start to finish of getting it all marked, cutting the lead, getting it all dressed, and then fitting it in, fingers crossed, like a glove. So what it's good to do is to create yourself a nice little workstation. So what I've done, I've got myself a scaff board. I've got it connected to this side here, to this side here. If you just look underneath, I fixed a bit of lath to stop it from falling that way. And on this side, I've got 2 bits of lath, one on this side of the pole, one on this side of the pole, and that's stopping it from going that way. So if you look now, that ain't going nowhere. A nice safe station for me to work on. It's at a nice good height, so I'm not bending over at all. Back's nice and straight. I can work on my lead. Perfect, nice and easy. So when you buy your lead like this, you always see it, you'll have your tape on there and it'll have all your instructions what lead you got. So I've got a code 4, so its length is 6 meters and the width of it is 150 mil. So let's roll the lead out on this nice flat workstation we got. So you want to do it at 1.2, no longer than 1.5, okay? So I'm doing mine at 1.2. I'm going to get my tape, 1.2, which is about there. Going to put a little mark on the lead. Let's get myself a straight blade. There's my mark. Okay. There we go. So if you just look on here just now quickly, you can see with a 3-inch soaker going up the wall. So that's plenty of cover that we've got going up here. So what I need to do now is get a nice straight soaker line just on my lead going along here, okay? Sometimes you buy lead, when you roll it out, it's a little bit bent, not quite straight, which makes it very difficult to do, especially this job that we're doing today. You can imagine if it's like that and you're putting it on a nice straight roof and you've got this nice big bend in the lead, it makes life really difficult, okay? So you want a nice straight edge, and if you look down here, this lead is lovely and it's nice and straight. This makes my life a lot easier. So what I'm going to do with this one, I'm going to have my soaker line at 2¼ inches, okay? So there's 2¼ just there. Because we've got a nice straight line on here, all I have to do is just run my tape measure all the way down like that. I then know that's a straight line, okay? Gonna get a little bit of lath, get a nail, and now we're gonna get this lead on position on the roof. We wanna get this lead coming down like that, okay? So it's in position first, yeah? You don't want little stones behind the lead. I've brought it down just a little bit past the bottom of the slate, because what we're going to do with this in a moment is we're going to get this lead and we're going to fold that around the corner, yeah? So what we want to do first is get this in position. If you see these bricks here, it's a little bit blown. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to take this brick out eventually, and then we're going to replace this brick. Obviously when we point it all up and everything, it'll all be done and look mint, yeah? But for the sake of the video, I'm going to get the lead in. So you've got to get your bit of lath. And what we're doing is, you see the brickwork on here? We're going to mark a line on there like that, okay? Just for now. Slowly work my way down, and I'm going to follow the line with the brickwork. You get your nail from your soaker line here, and just strike a line. And that's all you've got to do to start off with. Then you work your way down to the next one. You get it again, look, on line with the brick there. Level this through, and go through like that, yeah? And then we come down to the next one. I'm just going to repeat this now all the way down. Remember, from the soaker line to the edge here. I'll show you why we're only going from the soaker line just in a minute. There we go, we're good. Something like that. That's all marked all the way down, all right? So what we're going to do, we're going to get this lead now onto my workstation. Right, so what I want to do now, I'm going to show you why I put this mark from the soaker line. Get your bit of lath from the end there, and what I'm going to do, I'm going to join these points now together, okay? That point to that point there. And I've marked the line. And we're going to do the same again. So from that point there to that point there, yeah? Get your nail, mark a line there. So this one we had a little bit of a difference there. So we've moved it again. So we're going to go point to point, point to point, and the same again. Okay, so that was the last one that we put on, yeah? Next thing I like to do, you've got to get another little line here, and this line is going to be your fold line that goes into the brickwork, okay? So what I like to use is, again, just using the same bit of lath, okay? So it's just a bit of 25×50, that's all it is. If you can imagine, when you're using the small 4-inch grinder, when you're grinding it out, if you measure it and check, it's only about an inch, inch and a quarter with a new blade. Obviously once the blade gets worn down, it goes below an inch and so forth. So you've always got to keep an eye on that. Depth of your blade is going to be how depth of how far you want to go with this, because if you've got it too long, it's going to just make life so much difficult when you're trying to put it in, okay? So I know with my blade it's a little bit worn down, so it's just under an inch. If you can imagine, that's an inch as well, all right? I like to put my lath exactly right on this point. See this line? I'm going to bring that bit of lath to that line there. So that's now flush on this line. I'm going to get the nail onto the other side of the lath, around here. From the line that we join point to point, and I'm going to mark a line from that line all the way to the end there, okay? And if you look, that's what you're going to have when you look at it, okay? Point to point, and then we put an inch on there, and we've drawn a line on that, okay? Not gone past it, just gone past it like that. So we're going to do the same thing again, get the lath in line from the line that you put on point to point, and I'm just going to mark it like that, on the line, point to point, and do a line like that. And we're just going to keep doing this now, point to point, from there to there, okay? So if you look at that now, okay, all the way down, okay, looking pretty similar, yeah? The line that we put on, point to point, we're now going to cut with the snips, yeah? Just following the line all the way down to that point there. If you look, I'm not going past that point, I'm literally going to that point. From the point to point line, nice and straight. Just keep doing this now until you get to the end. So you're doing each thing over and over and over again. You don't just do this bit first, get that done. I find it a lot easier. Remember what I was saying to you about the depth of the blade on the disc and how far you've gone in? So like I said, mine's just under an inch, and I've marked the line now that's exactly an inch, all right? So what I've got to do, I've got to cut this just on the inside of the line, so it's not an inch, just underneath an inch, yeah? I'm just going to follow that line all the way down there. Don't throw that lead away, we keep it, and we run it in for scrap later on. Every little bit counts. That's now cut all the way down, yeah? So what we've got to do now is create the lip so it fits in perfect into the brickwork. Flip it. I want to create like a nice finish on here. It's about there, like so, like that. I was going to cut this off as well. Like I just said, I'm going to create that lip, okay, going into the brickwork. From this side here now, I'm going to work my way that way, and I'll show you why. So what you do now, you get your bit of lath, you see this point here, and then you have another point there. The same on all of them. Got the point there, then you've got a point on the lead there. There's a point there to this point here. We're going to now put the lath on that point there, and then we're going to put it on that point there. And what we're going to do now is we're going to fold this lead up, okay? Now it's dressing time. So if you look, I'm sort of dressing it up straight, yeah? See, that's kind of straight-ish. Right, that's it. So that's one done. So I'm going to repeat the process again now. Okay, one there, one end there, yeah? Let's get this. We're bending it up now. So look, to that point. Yeah? So you've got a little foldy bit. If you look up there, if you look up here, there's that little bit there that needs to just come up, you see? This tiny little bit here, it's not quite dressing up perfect. So what we're going to do is, I'm just going to lift it up a tiny little bit, get it round, but it's kicking up now. See, look, that's not straight. So let's just knock it down. Let's create that angle that we want. And if you remember, like I always say, whenever I'm working with my lead, just take your time. Okay, that's another one. Let's repeat the process again. Just creating that fold now, okay? Let's get that bended round. Same point there, let's knock that round the corner a bit so we've got it all perfect. So now that we've got this lead, it's all made up, ready to put in. But before we do that, we've got to make sure that we get some patination oil on the back and on the front. Just obviously precaution, obviously. It's just a good thing to do. We'll put that on there. So that's the back side done now. So now I'm going to flip that over quickly. And I'm just going to go along here now, getting every little bit, even the little bits up top. Just like that. We've got to get this lead into that wall. And fingers crossed, it fits like a glove. Ricky's already started slating, so I'm gonna have to be very gentle on these slates now. So I'm just taking my time with it. Look at that. Perfect. So what we got to do now, we got to get this fixed so it don't move anywhere. Two ways you can do this. You can either use a little bit of lead, where you fold it up and then you use your bolster to whack it and knock it in. We're not going to do that today. We've got some of these lead clips, just a little clip like that. I've shown you them before and I'm sure you've already seen them. They're so much easier to work with. I'm not going to put a clip in the top one here first, because the next bit of lead is going to come down and it's going to cover over this one down to about here. And then once we do that and we dress that into there, then we'll put the clip in. So I'm going to come down to this next one down here for now. Just tap this down. So on these clips, you've got the C. On the other clips that we've used, I can't remember the name of the make. They had a H, so it was H for hup. So this is a C, so we're going to say C for cup. In there like that. And you just knock that in. That ain't going anywhere now, okay? Same thing, go lower down. Just give it a little pat, make sure she's nice and tight. Then we're going to get ourselves another clip, C for cup, in there. Just knock that in like that, yeah? We'll dress this all back down a little bit in a second. Just going to repeat that all the way down to the bottom here. Press that in like that. It doesn't really matter where you really put it, but I mean, I'm always going to put these clips in the middle because it just, it makes sense, I suppose. You don't really want to put one in there. I suppose you can, but I just always try and get it in the middle as best we can. I never ever put the clip on the perp. I just always make sure it's on the brick. So this one's moved a little bit, just give it a little, just dress that in a bit more. See the perp there? That's bang in the middle there. So I'm just going to move it across just a little bit and get it in there. So if you can look there now, you can see that this lead is now all in, all the way down. So all we've got left to do with this bottom bit, little snip on the top bit there, and we're going to fold that around the corner. Now that I've got all my clips in, I just want to show you the important part of your lead. This line here is always going down and it's going inwards. You don't ever want it coming at an angle, coming down this way like that, okay? If you ever get it and the line's looking straight like this, all you need to do is adjust your soaker line, bring it down a little bit further, tiny little bit to about here, and then the line will go through a little bit further, which will then give you this angle here. So that's a key part. Always make sure these angles are always going in on themselves. Right, that's that one there done. Time to get on this next one and start putting that in. Now that we've got our step flashing in, we've got to point this all up, okay? So I'm going to start from the top, and I'm going to work myself down. I've got myself a 4-in-1 mix here. There's a nice bit of muck. So as I always say it, it's not as wet as bricky muck, but it's just stiff enough and wet enough to get a good stick. And it's quite stiff, so I can get it and I can maneuver it and get it how I want it, yeah? I'm going to be pointed underneath here now. I'm going to get all these little bits, and if you look at all these little gaps that we've got here, so for example this coping stone at the top there, what I'll do is I'll take that off, I'm going to rebed that on and repoint this point here as well, just makes it a little bit better. Okay then, so here we go. I've got my old Mallorcan trowel there, that my old boss John Warby brought back from holiday for us once. You can't buy them in this country. I've had it for a few years now, it's one of my favourite tools. All that muck there isn't falling down, okay, it's not going to go anywhere. All I've got to do is flatten that out, get your bit, and just poke it in. So this is all we're doing now, yeah? And you make sure that you get it all the way in, okay? And then once I've got my muck in, you can see that now this is all a little bit messy on the lead here. Just run my finger just across there like that, just to get rid of that wastage. And then that's going to be that. That's one of them done. So what I'll do is I'll let that dry. And once I've got all of these done, it'll all be dry, I'll get the brush and I'll give it a little dust down, make it look mint. So now I've done that one, let's move down to the next one. This is why this tool is the nuts. So I'll flatten it out, look. So you've got that piece like that there, yeah? A little bit flappy, look, see it? But what I'm going to do with this bit now, we come into here, see that? And it goes all the way in. So we've got this little bit here now. So what we've got to do, we've got to get right into tight into these bits here, okay? Clearing all that off, and then it looks like a nice, lovely straight line we got there now. So the next thing for me to do, once this dries a little bit, get myself a nice little paintbrush, dry one obviously, and I'll just give it a little scrape once over, just over that, just to tidy it up a little bit. And that was a trick that was told to me by Alex, our brickie. Just give it a little dust down with a dry brush, just makes it nice and smart. So if you look, I've done the bit at the top there. Ricky is already slated in quite a bit for us yesterday. I've come down now because I don't want to get onto these slates just at the moment. So I'm going to come down to this bottom bit. I'm going to start working my way up now. If you look, I've taken the brick out of there. Basically, I just wanted to concentrate on all this step flashing for today. Then obviously in a later date, we'll slip a brick back in there. Carry on up here now. Don't want to put too much weight on these slates now, okay? In a minute, I am going to shoot off. Going to go and get myself a bit of insulation board. I'm going to lay it on the roof and then I'll be able to work on the roof. I'm not applying any pressure on my foot now. This is literally just there for balance. That's all it's for. Flatten out that muck like that. And we scrape it off like that. And then put her into that gap there. All the way in. Okay, and if you look on my trowel, there's hardly any muck left on there because all of it has been pushed in there. Get it all the way in, getting every little bit that I need to get. Push it real good. I use this paintbrush for nothing else but for what I'm about to do now. I don't use it for anything else. Just give it a little brush, a light brush. Look at that. So it just gets rid of all the little bits of snot or things like that that are left on there. Just makes it all nice and smooth. It just looks a lot tidier in my opinion. Makes it look super sexy. Right then guys, so that's the step flashing all done, and that's on both sides as well. It's going to give you a little rundown on how I went through it. So we started at the bottom with a slate and half a slate going all the way up with a 3-inch soaker going up the wall. Then we cut our lead at 1.2, starting at the bottom here. If you look, 1, 2, 3, 4. So we've done 4 at 1.2 and we've done the top one, I believe was about 1 metre-ish. So we put the lead on here, we then marked it out with our bit of lath, come to our workbench, set it all out, got it all done, and it's slotted in like a glove every single time. So yeah, we did that all the way up here. I've repeated the process on that side. That's the step flashing all done for you. Hope you've enjoyed this video. If you have, don't forget to like, subscribe and comment. I'm Will the Roofer and you're watching Build with A&E. Have a good day everyone.